Imagine this. You're in the final stretch of a long marathon. You've come miles through sacrifices, joys, and countless obstacles, and now you're at that point where every step matters, where one misstep could cost you dearly. And just then, someone appears trying to block your path. A brother, a partner, a friend, maybe even a neighbor. Absolutely not, let's be honest. At this stage of your life, the last thing you need is to carry the weight of other people's demands. You're not here to be anyone's lifeguard, nor to sacrifice your peace for empty promises or guilt that was never yours to begin with. This is your life, not theirs. Let's be clear, there are people who ask for things they never should, things that steal your time, your energy, even your peace of mind. It's a direct hit to your happiness, and that cannot be allowed. Have you ever felt that way? Like an emotional ATM, or worse, like you're rowing a sinking boat while everyone else just watches. Remember, we're here to open your eyes and say the things others won't dare to. In this video, we'll talk about 5 things no one should ever ask of you at this point in your life. Because anything that robs you of your peace simply isn't worth it. So stay with us until the end. This might just be the sign you need to close the doors you should never have opened in the first place. One of those things, being asked to take responsibility for something that isn't yours. How many times have you said yes to something you knew deep down wasn't your problem? Too many, right? And worst of all, you only realized it once you were already carrying a burden that was never yours to begin with. These stories often start with a small favor, a bit of help, just this once, or an emergency, and suddenly you're caught in a chain that pulls you deeper without you even noticing. What began as support turns into becoming the pillar holding everything up, and the longer it goes on, the harder it is to let go. Think about it. What happens when a rope keeps getting pulled while it's already worn out? It snaps, and that rope is you. You were used like a lifeline, and now they expect you to keep afloat a boat that should have been sailing on its own long ago. But you're not a lifeline, and you don't have to be, because what's at stake here isn't just your time or your money. It's your peace, your emotional health, and your life. Asking you to take on what isn't yours is like handing you a heavy load and walking away, expecting you to deal with it. And you, out of love, carry it. Because you want to help, because you don't want to be seen as selfish. But let me tell you something, that's not help, that's abuse. You've done your part. You've raised, worked, given, loved, and sacrificed more than anyone could imagine. So why keep holding on to what was never yours to begin with? Think about it. You're not a bank, but people ask for money. You're not a babysitter, but they leave the grandkids with you as if it's your job to raise them again. You're not a nurse, but they expect you to care for everyone like it's your duty, without ever asking how you feel. And if you say no, if you say you can't or won't, suddenly you're the bad guy, judged, criticized, made to feel guilty. But who judges them for putting you in that position? The truth is, many people take advantage of your love and sense of responsibility. They see you as a resource, not a person. And that hurts, because you give your all, and in return you get little or nothing, only more demands, more blame, and the expectation that you'll keep giving without ever thinking of yourself. That's unforgivable. It's like being an umbrella everyone runs to when it starts to rain. But once the storm passes, you're left there, soaked and forgotten, while everyone else moves on with their lives. How many more times will you allow yourself to be used like that? Let me tell you something that matters. This isn't love. It's emotional abuse. And it doesn't matter if it's coming from a child, a sibling, or a friend. If people are overwhelming you with things that aren't yours to carry, stealing your peace, you don't have to accept it. You don't need to say yes, just because it's hard to say no when someone asks with tears, sweet words, or emotional blackmail disguised as affection. That's exactly when you need to ask yourself, why should I pay the price for their mistakes? This isn't about being selfish, it's about respect, and respect begins with you. If you don't set boundaries, no one will do it for you. Continuing to accept burdens that don't belong to you will only leave you drained, frustrated, and invisible, and that's a mistake you simply can't afford. Life is short, and at this stage you deserve to live it in peace. You deserve time for yourself, to enjoy what you've built, to rest, to do what you've always dreamed of, not to put out fires others started, or to be the support system for people who refuse to stand on their own feet. Open your eyes. If you feel like a prisoner of other people's responsibilities, it's time to break those chains. This isn't about offering help in tough moments. It's about carrying loads that were never yours to begin with. And let me be clear, this is one of those decisions that screams, don't do it. Stop dragging around guilt and emotional debts that belong to others. Life doesn't wait, and what you ignore today will weigh even heavier tomorrow. Ask yourself again why you're carrying all this, and if you can't find a good reason, it's time to let go, because no one will take care of you better than you can take care of yourself. Let's talk about one common example: being asked to lend money. Unless it's a real emergency, don't even consider it. Picture this. You're enjoying your morning coffee, gazing out the window, savoring a moment of peace, and suddenly your phone rings. It's someone close to you, maybe a child, a sibling, a relative, or even an old friend. That alone feels strange because you hardly ever get calls, and when you pick up, you realize they're not checking in to see how you're doing. They're calling to ask for money, and we're not talking about a one-time favor. It starts as a temporary loan and slowly becomes a bottomless pit. This is how a story begins that no one wants to live. What seems like a simple act of kindness can turn into one of the worst decisions of your life. Lending money at this stage of your life is like handing over the keys to your house and hoping they come back untouched. But how many times have you heard stories where they don't? It's sad, but it's the truth. Once you lend money, you often hand over your peace of mind, your emotional stability, and sometimes even your trust. A direct hit to your happiness. This is the time in your life when, after so much hard work, you should be enjoying the calm you fought for, not risking it. Lending money now could end up being one of the most expensive choices you ever make. This isn't selfishness, it's self-respect. Because what seems noble today might become a personal disaster tomorrow. Imagine if, due to a sudden health issue, you needed the money you had lent out. What would you do? It's not about being stingy or turning your back on someone you care about. It's about protecting yourself from being left with nothing while others take advantage of your kindness. You realize that what begins as a simple request can end in unnecessary, painful consequences. A direct hit to your peace and well-being. It's like leaving your door wide open, hoping no one walks in and takes what's yours. And by the time you notice, it's too late. Because anything that robs you of peace simply isn't worth it. Your peace of mind is worth more than anything. And believe me, the money you lend out rarely comes back as easily as it went. And then come those words, "But if you're my father or my brother, you have to help me." That's when emotional blackmail shows up, making you feel trapped, manipulated by guilt, as if saying no were an unforgivable sin. But let's be clear, you are under no obligation to save anyone if it means drowning yourself in the process. Your life does not belong to others. If you're not happy, change. Continuing to row a sinking boat isn't heroism, it's self-destruction. We need to recognize that our actions often speak louder than words, and many times we don't even realize someone is taking advantage of us. This isn't about extreme situations, genuine emergencies like a medical crisis. This is about constant favors that never end, draining your savings while the other person goes on with life as if nothing's wrong. And the worst part? Once your wallet is empty, there's no going back. You're not at an age to start over financially from zero. It's like driving down a winding road and losing your rearview mirror. A missed opportunity you can never recover. So open your eyes. Don't beg for attention, affection, or respect. If someone only shows up when they need something, ask yourself, is this really love or just dependence in disguise? The worst thing you can do is sacrifice your future for people who couldn't care less about yours. Because someone who truly loves you would never put you in a position where you have to choose between your own stability and their convenience. And if they do that, they don't deserve your time or your effort. It's shocking. After a lifetime of hard work, you still find yourself having to justify why you deserve to enjoy what you've earned. But here's a painful truth. Those who don't value you don't deserve your time or your money. Learn to say enough. Don't be afraid to be different. And above all, don't be afraid to say no. Remember, peace of mind is a luxury that must be protected. What's easy isn't always right. And in this case, the right thing is protecting what took you a lifetime to build. Life doesn't wait. Live now. Don't let anyone stand in your way. This is your time to enjoy what you've achieved, not to watch it slip away in the blink of an eye. So next time someone comes to you with a sad story and an outstretched hand, ask yourself, are they thinking about my well-being as much as I think about theirs? And if the answer is no, then you already know what to do. This isn't about being cold, it's about being wise. The good only arrives when you leave the bad behind. And in this case, the bad is anyone who sees you as a cash machine instead of a human being. Reaching your later years should mean peace, shouldn't it? After all you've been through, imagine a life of calm, enjoying the fruits of your labor, finally having time for yourself. But then suddenly, someone comes along and asks you to step into a family conflict. They want you to be the mediator, to fix a fight you didn't even start. Maybe it's a son or daughter saying, "Mum, Dad, you have to talk to your brother, or things are bad. Can't you do something?" And without thinking, you throw yourself into it like a referee on a battlefield that's not even yours. But once you step in, you suddenly find yourself in the eye of a storm you never saw coming. Now imagine something even more painful. Your children arguing over the inheritance of your home, that place you built with so much effort, filled with memories and love. A place that to you is a safe haven, but to them becomes nothing more than money, a battle they're desperate to win. You sit there, helpless, watching something you hold dear become a source of division. It's a tragedy, because even when you try to mediate with the best intentions, all you end up doing is fueling the fire, giving them more reasons to keep fighting, to grow further apart. In the end, you come to a painful realization. You can't fix what's already broken. And the worst part is, while you wear yourself out trying to solve something that isn't in your hands, the price you pay is enormous. Your peace of mind, your happiness, even your health begin to unravel. That's when the harshest lesson hits. You lose yourself in a desperate effort to help. Life is too short to be wasted on problems that don't belong to you. This is the moment when you deserve to put yourself first, to finally seek the peace you've fought so hard to achieve. If someone asks you to step into a family conflict, ask yourself, is it really worth risking my peace over something I can't control? Because deep down, you already know. You can't save others by sinking with them. Life isn't about carrying other people's battles. It's about protecting what brings you calm, joy, and meaning. This isn't selfishness, it's self-respect. And if you decide not to get involved, you're not letting anyone down. On the contrary, you're choosing yourself. So next time someone tries to pull you into a family argument, remember, you're not required to carry the weight of what isn't yours. Your well-being matters more than any drama, because the peace you've worked for has no price. Think twice. If you're not happy, change. Peace is priceless, and it should never be bargained away. Don't waste your energy fighting a war that isn't yours. The truth may sting, but it sets you free. Say you won't get involved, and that's it. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Don't agree to be a pawn in a game that isn't yours. Tranquility is a luxury you must protect, because if you don't, you'll find yourself stuck in a decision you never should have made. Put yourself first. Take the reins of your own life. Stop merely surviving and start living. Never risk your peace for something that's outside your control. Now let's talk about something else people ask of you. Something even more personal. Asking you to change who you are or how you live. What happens when someone, your child, your sibling, a close friend, starts asking you to change how you live your life, as if your time has passed, as if everything you've experienced no longer matters? It's a blow straight to the heart, as if they're telling you to forget who you are, to erase everything you've built, as if, just because you're older, everything you do is somehow wrong. Imagine hearing things like, "Don't dress like that, you look old," or "You still listen to that outdated music," or even, "Don't talk like that, you're too old for this stuff." They're not just asking you to change something small, they're trying to strip away your identity, telling you, in their own way, that everything that defines you no longer has value. And that's a loss no one should ever have to endure, because instead of seeing you as someone full of experience and wisdom, they treat you as someone who needs to be updated to fit into their world, as if your preferences, your memories, the things that bring you joy are somehow wrong. But what they're really asking for isn't an update. They're asking you to erase yourself, to let go of a vital part of who you are, just to belong to something that doesn't even represent you. And here's the key question: why should you have to change for them? What about your right to be yourself? To enjoy what makes you happy, to wear what you like, to listen to music that takes you back to your best memories. You've reached a stage in life where everything that defines you should be celebrated, not judged, not corrected. And yet you hear things like, "Dad, Mum, it's time to stop being so traditional. You sound weird. Loosen up, change those habits. Not everything has to be so strict." But they forget one thing. Those habits are part of your story, and your story is something that no one has the right to rewrite. But who said that being yourself is a sin? No one has the right to tell you how to live, especially when you've lived long enough to know what brings you peace. The freedom you've earned over the years shouldn't be exchanged for a mere suggestion. The worst part is, if you give in, if you start doubting yourself and going along with the flow, you'll end up losing your essence, destroying what makes you unique, what you've spent a lifetime building. Let's be clear. There's no blindness worse than that of someone who refuses to see, and they don't see what lies behind your decisions. They don't see the years of effort, the lessons learned, the sacrifices made. They don't understand that you've paid a price to live a full life with ups and downs, but always staying true to yourself. What they're really asking, even if they don't say it outright, is for you to give up who you are. But you know you can't and shouldn't do that. Remember this: your authenticity is your greatest treasure. Don't trade it for anything or anyone. This isn't about making a small adjustment. It's about completely rebuilding who you are. And let me tell you something. That's a recipe for disaster. Because once you give in and begin to change just to fit in, what you lose may never come back. There's no way to recover what was sacrificed. Imagine one day your child looking at you and saying, "Stop talking about that stuff. That was years ago. Just let it go." They have no idea what it takes to stay true to yourself, to stand firm when everyone is telling you to move on, to change, to keep up. The worst thing that could happen is allowing those words to drag you down, to make you stop being who you are, just so others can feel more comfortable. Can you imagine losing your identity just to fit into a mold that was never yours? That would be an unnecessary, painful fall. There is nothing worse than sacrificing what brings you happiness just to please others. Don't let yourself be manipulated by guilt. This is your life, and you get to decide how to live it. If someone asks you to change something that defines you, something that brings you peace, don't do it. The peace and happiness you've built, everything that brought you to this point, is worth far more than any opinion or suggestion. Don't put your life on pause for anyone, if your habits, your way of living, what you love. If these things make you feel good, no one has the right to ask you to change. Life is now, and everything you've lived through so far holds immeasurable value. Don't waste your energy, and don't settle for less than you deserve. And if someone asks you to stop being who you are, just to please them, remember this: your life is made up of choices, and the most important one is choosing to stay true to yourself. Let's now talk about a different kind of request, one where someone asks you to prioritize their feelings over your own. What happens when someone you care about, whether it's your child, your sibling, or a close friend, demands that you put their emotions first? It's like they're silently telling you that your happiness no longer matters, that because you're older, your feelings and needs are secondary. Picture this. One day your children tell you that your choices are disturbing their peace, that what you want or feel isn't what they want, and they ask, "Why can't you just do what I'm asking? It would make me feel better." The worst thing you could do is give in, because what they're really asking is for you to erase yourself, to ignore your own desires and needs so they can feel more comfortable. As if your life were a stage where they control everything. It's like they're saying, "Forget about yourself. The important thing is that I feel good." That's a direct blow to your happiness. While they get to feel secure in their world, you're dimming the light of your own life so they can shine. Don't let that happen, because no one has the right to ask you to sacrifice what makes you feel fulfilled. Who decided that your well-being should depend on how others feel? Every time you face these kinds of requests, it's like they're telling you that you don't deserve happiness, that your needs don't matter. They say, "Do this for me," but the truth is, if you give in, you'll realize too late that the harm is done. You'll have given up something invaluable, your inner peace, the calm you've worked so hard to build over the years, through all the lessons learned and challenges faced. Don't settle for less than you deserve. You can't keep living as if you're just a supporting character in someone else's story. Imagine someone telling you, "If you don't do this, you'll hurt me, you'll disappoint me." Suddenly you feel trapped, as if your own needs don't matter, just because someone else can't manage their emotions. Don't allow that to happen, because in the end, no one has the right to ask you to stop being who you are just to please their emotional whims. Your life is yours, and you must always remember that you decide how to live it. You might find yourself in a position where it feels impossible to be yourself without feeling like you're hurting someone. But let me tell you, your life is not meant to revolve around others. It's like constantly hearing, "Don't make me feel uncomfortable with your decisions." And suddenly, you're expected to change, to adapt, to give up everything you are, just so someone else doesn't have to face their own discomfort. But what about your feelings, your well-being? This is not selfishness, it's self-love. If you don't respect yourself, if you don't put your peace first, who will do it for you? If you keep giving in to others' expectations, you'll end up drained, giving up everything that gives you energy. everything that makes you feel alive. And the worst part? You'll miss your one true chance at happiness. When you put yourself second so others can shine, you end up dimming your own light, becoming a spectator in your own life while others decide how you should live, what you should do, and even how you should feel. Don't let that happen, because you know exactly what happens when someone asks too much from you. You get stuck in their expectations. And the truth is, that can't be allowed. Now more than ever, your life needs to be guided by what makes you happy, by what brings you peace. Don't settle for less than you deserve. It's time to put yourself first. Stop being a prisoner to what others want from you. Stop doing things just to avoid disappointing them. And if someone asks you to put their happiness before your own, stop and say, enough. Your happiness, your peace, and your choices are extremely valuable. Don't waste time trying to change the truth. As hard as it may be, the truth is this: when someone doesn't respect your feelings, it's a clear signal that you need to set boundaries. In the end, the only person who has the right to decide how you live your life is you. If you're not happy, if you're not at peace, if you're not living according to what fulfills you, then it's time to make a change. Life is one and only. Don't waste it on drama or trying to meet other people's expectations. If someone asks you to live for them instead of for yourself, remember, that is not what you deserve at this point in life. Peace and well-being must be the priority. You can't allow others to drag you into their conflicts, ask you to take on responsibilities that aren't yours, or play games with your kindness and generosity. Because by doing so, you're not only sacrificing your time and energy, but also your mental and emotional peace. Learning to say no is not selfish. It's a way of protecting everything you've worked so hard to build, your peace and happiness. Always remember, your life is yours, and only you can decide how to live it. Don't let anyone take away what's most valuable to you, your tranquility. Now is the time to set priorities, establish healthy boundaries, and fully enjoy this important chapter of life. Now we've reached the end, and I want to hear from you. Which of these points spoke to you the most? Have you gone through something like this? Has someone close to you done something to change this reality? If this video added value to your life, subscribe and comment the keyword intact, and I'll give you a special shout out in the next video. Leave your comment below. I'd love to hear your experience and thoughts. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.